Welcome to Witch to Take, Office of Fortune Teller, Shaman, Folk Artist with Christina Lisa, and a reading from Cigana Kártya, product of Hungary. Peace, you may call us river and develop with us witch virtues of courage, honor, integrity, truth, and wisdom. And in this session, we are pulling a card, just one, please, thank you, to help us play through the loss that is happening in Hungary. And some of you may have heard that the transportation minister was joking around about not needing foreigners because they had the Romany to clean the toilets. And, you know, in high states of adoption, we don't judge people as good, bad, or evil anymore. And instead, we just see everybody on a spectrum of loss, from being grief-struck by loss, possessed by grief, acting out the amygdala, authorizing cycles of fear, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn on one end of the spectrum, and it's all swept under the carpet. And instead of taking responsibility for that, they kick the dog, whip the post, take their grief out on others, scapegoat. And in the other end of the spectrum, people are taking responsibility for their loss as often a day as needed and apologizing for when they take their grief out on people, places, and things. And so thank you for joining us in this session and for thanking God, however you call God, for helping us all. And of course, you know, we are not saying that helping those continue to scapegoat, but to truly be met where they are to heal. Unless, of course, they don't want to, and we want to honor that. And in that case, we can ask their higher self to hold that healing until or if they are ready and change their mind and their source. And so here on the bottom of the deck, we have Betegsig, Krankheit, Maladie, Bolest, Malatia, Malady. And that sort of sums up what we're talking about when folk are so grief-struck by loss that they say things they really don't mean, trying to fit in and belong instead of taking responsibility for their loss. Because, you know, in most states of adoption, we're like, get out of bed, get up, you got to work, you got to slave away. And in high states of adoption, we're not slaving away anymore for anybody. And today is a world point. Neptune and Saturn are at Aries. Yes. Starting a new cycle and helping us transmute this anger, this verdrus, bosusag, chagrin, neprilika, dispiacere. And funny, this card, parallel card, came up in our reading this morning, indicating sadness, and how sadness and anger are using some of the same words in these decks. And in some trains of thought, sadness precedes anger. So anytime you are angry, you can tag yourself out from the game and take care of your sadness instead. And that is one way that you may do yourself justice, and even the Romany and non-Romany and Hungary justice, is by taking care of your sadness instead of marching forward in anger. And if that resonates, of course, right? You don't want to force the fit. And this is a channel for those who have hurt themselves and others enough to know, wow, we want to flip over the fighting spirit card and play through our losses with adoption spirit instead. And so if you are considering that, awesome. If you need to change the channel, awesome, right? Everybody is a different psychosociology experiment. And what is one person's medicine may be another's poison. And so we honor that, and we honor people's free will, and also understand that when a person is so grief-struck by loss that their free will may become bound. And we invite you to consider how to express in your culture Romans 8:15. It goes something like this: we have not received the bondage of fear again. We have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, thanks God for helping us all. And please quadruple, triple check me as I was saying that. I'm like, oh my God, am I saying that correctly? We have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear. We have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, thanks God for helping us all. And so we invite you to consider how to express that in your culture, and to also take care of your malady, whatever that is for you. And literal, figurative, orphan, adoptee, gypsy, there's this loss that in those states of adoption, it's been swept under the carpet, and we've been tuned to act as an emotional support pet for others before or instead of taking care of ourselves. And in high states of adoption, we're learning how to walk and talk in a whole new way, to take care of our sadness. And our anger is a red flag for us to tag out and tend to our sadness. And there are so many channels for healing popping up on virtually every corner, that you may find one that resonates with you, all the different ways that plays out. It could be an acupuncturist, a chiropractor, a talk therapist, a reader. There's so many different ways to heal. And you can make a card for each one that resonates with you and keep it in your Stacked for Life Worth Living deck of cards. So when that anger comes up, or when that sadness comes up, you don't have to think so hard. You can just shuffle your cards and pick one of the cards that resonates with you, or that pops out that resonates with you, so you can play through your anger and your sadness without hurting yourself or anyone else. And again, this is the time. We are starting a new 6,000-year cycle, and so exciting. And we hope this helps. Thank you so much for taking sweet care of yourself, for steering clear of danger, for playing with yourself, your cards. We are in awe of you. Ciao for now. We love you all.